Well, welcome back to Let's Talk Race to Marland. I'm your host, Harrison Paul, and today we're going to get into the Frank Hester comment, his racist comment that people are even surprisingly debating whether it was a racist comment or just a comment that had, nothing to do with race or gender, but we'll get into it. He said that, and I'm paraphrasing now just so we can get through it, that he wished Diane Abbott could be shot and that she makes him hate every other black woman out there. I don't know how we've arrived at a place where we are debating whether or not this was a racist comment, but of course, it's the West. This is the way things go here. But I'm going to quickly play a James O'Brien, one of my favorite men in the world. And I'm going to play one of his tapes today on two comments that he made, and I want to dive straight into that for us to kind of start talking off this topic.
I won't tell you the contents of the inboxes in these studios when politicians like Sadiq Khan and Diane Abbott are either in our company or under discussion. They make your Twitter feed look positively saccharine, right? These people are out there. There are not as many of them as we sometimes fear, but the idea that they are confined to the lower orders or the socio-economic fringes of society is probably the most disgusting lie that right-wing politicians have ever told in this country. People that went to public school, people that have inherited wealth, people that run multi-million pound companies are as, if not more likely to be possessed of the sort of disgusting opinions voiced by this monstrous man, Frank Hester, as anybody else in the country. People like Rishi Sunak like to push people like Lee Anderson to the front of the crowd and pretend that he somehow represents working class values, that pursuing the racist vote is somehow a class-based decision, when it is, of course, nothing of the sort. I don't know how you handle this as a phone-in show. What do you do? It's a bit like having a phone-in show about whether the moon is really made of cheese. Oh, here's Doris in Ongar to tell us that the moon is actually made. Who defends this monster? Who defends? I'll tell you, Lord Marland defends him. Lord Marland, who I'm not particularly familiar with, but I will be by the end of the next break. Lord Marland defends him like this.
He's an international businessman. He travels widely overseas. He does a lot of business in Jamaica. He does business in Malaysia, in Bangladesh and places like that. So he's not a racist. He made some unfortunate remarks which do sound racist, and quite rightly he's apologised for them.
So he's not a racist because he's been to the Caribbean. He's not a racist. Oh, he's made some unfortunate remarks that do sound racist. I'm not even sure who the worst is. Do you want to hear Mel Stride, the Secretary of State for Work and Pensions? Here he is earlier this morning.
Well, it's clear that what he said was inappropriate. He has, as I understand it, apologised for those remarks. I think the critical point here is I don't think what he was saying was a gender-based or a race-based comment, but it was clearly inappropriate. He has apologised, and I think we need to move on from that.
She makes me want to hate all black women, and I think she, the black woman, should be shot, but it's not a gender-based or a race-based comment. Mel Stride, Secretary of State for Work and Pensions, not some branch manager of the BNP or a National Front Tribute Act. Secretary of State for Work and Pensions.
You know, guys, one of the main things that I want people to understand about what I do here, let me break it down like this. Whenever I speak to a black person, one of the first things that they say to me is, you know what, man, if someone calls me an N-word or someone calls me this, I don't care. And it's had to go on this whole big spiel like, I don't care what people say, I'm confident in myself. This whole, and I'm standing there looking at them because instantly they think you fight racism. So, you fight that nobody at the bus stop calling you an N-word. I think that we trivialize this cause. We trivialize this battle. We trivialize Martin Luther. Those lives did not die for you to make sure no one will call you N-word at a bus stop. Malcolm X didn't die. Kwame Nkrumah. All these African legends did not die for you not to be called the N-word at a bus stop. That's not why. So they go on this huge spiel of like, you know what, man? Like almost they look at me like, you must be a sensitive soul. For me, that doesn't get to me. My brother, I've been black as long as you've been black. My sister, I've been black as long as you've been black. I've been born black. I know how to take an N-word. Trust me, we all get experience on how to take an N-word. For me, there was something very important about this. Although, again, we always have to latch on to these, overt racist moments because that is all we can use as evidence. But the uproar always speaks to, finally, we've caught on camera or caught on tape something we face on a day-to-day basis. That's in the discrimination, in the workplace, in the hospital, my school teacher, my kid's school teacher, come on. We face things on a day-to-day basis in the real world that cause people, make people's life more difficult than they need to be. This is not about the fact that you do have a white friend. Look at me, I'm a huge fan of James O'Brien. Guy on the show, huge fan. I'm not going to stop doing the page. Why? Because it's James O'Brien's in the world. Follow me where I'm going with this now today. The comment in itself, yes, racist comment. But what got me the most was watching everybody, and I'm going to put, and in a few minutes I'm going to put on the screen Rishi Sunak's quote of what he said. But watching all the elites come to the defense of this man in something you think is way out there. I had some tapes of people who were saying, oh, geez, I guess we can't be racist in private, jokingly said it. There was a lot of, when you become conscious, you can read people's mentality. And this is a brilliant moment for us to watch. I said this in my book as well. I wrote this. The Leonardo DiCaprio-esque, devastation. This acting Hollywood devastation of, I hate racism. But what I love about the elite sometimes, especially in moments like this, they'll refuse to use the word racism. They'll refuse to call it what it is, and they refuse. Now, we can talk and discuss. Come on, brothers and sisters, stay with me today. We can talk and we can discuss what the comment, and we can talk about the mentality behind the comment. This is a guy who is obviously a higher up. He has funded the Tory party £10 million. This is somebody, let's not talk about the slip-up moment. Let's think about the mindset. And I kept looking at the mindset. And one of the things you Africans do, which makes you trivialize the cause, which makes you think you don't need to fight, which also makes you underestimate and undermine your Africa. Because you think racism is limited to lower class people, like James O'Brien said. Oh, the guy with an England jersey and a cap on, or the Irish guy with the Irish jersey on and a pint in his hand. No. The ones who act distinguished and who are supposed to be the most ethical, they are the highest form of scumbags, the highest form of liars, the highest form of criminals. And I love what he said there. In fact, I love this so much. I'm gonna play it again because I just gotta play it again for you guys just to get this.
I won't tell you the contents of the inboxes in these studios when politicians like Sadiq Khan and Diane Abbott are either in our company or under discussion. They make your Twitter feed look positively saccharine, right? These people are out there. There are not as many of them as we sometimes fear. But the idea that they are confined to the lower orders or the socio-economic fringes of society is probably the most disgusting lie that right-wing politicians have ever told in this country. People that went to public school, people that have inherited wealth, people that run multi-million-pound companies.
People who run multi-million-dollar companies, guys, can we think? Now, when we think about the fact that Congo, again, today, I wanted to make this video again and reinforce Congo. And I put up on the screen, U.S. court sides with Apple, Tesla, and other tech companies over child labor in Africa. I'm trying to get you Africans to understand we are dealing with mafia. You do not know how these men speak behind closed doors. You do not even know the level of white supremacy these guys are believing behind closed doors. But for some strange reason, you have trivialized the cause of racism, racism fighting discrimination in systems, to someone calling you an N-word at a bus stop. These are people who have determined in their mind an African is less, meaning even if he's talking to the president of whatever African country, his goal and his determination is to make sure this black man stays below him. It has not changed since independence. If you think that these men, for whatever reason, felt as though they were now going to give Africans back their independence and allow this African to grow in his riches, you have to take away your interpretation of independence. It was not what they made it out to be. Stop thinking of the fact you can now go to the pub with some friends. Stop thinking of the fact that you can now eat in a coffee shop and thinking this means the system has been cleansed. Our Africa is being dealt with by people who think like that. We can look at the angle of the superiority. She should be shot. How about we change the terminology? She should be lynched. Would he not just lynch her if this was 19 what so and so? Guys, what you're not getting is these are the same people. These are the same people. And when we think about how unfair that is in the court system, where you go to look for justice, and what you guys don't understand is for Africa to regain its strength, it still has to regain that strength within the rules the very people who they are fighting, we are fighting, set those rules, set those laws. So you have to be wise enough to ask yourself, what does a rebellion look like for Africa? You have to be intelligent enough to understand that if Africa break rules in a revolution, since when does a revolution have to look clean? If they break rules, you will see more people died than they have died during the time of independence, simply from starvation. Because all they have to do, the IMF, the World Trade have to do, fine, you are on sanctions, meaning certain countries can no longer do business with you. And you think surely they wouldn't do that. Why? Because they wear suits and they're ethical. Well, you have to ask yourself the question. If Europe are able to get something for Apple for £1 a month, and they have been since independence, and they knew that from the beginning, and they've got all these minerals that boost their economy, it is only down to one thing that would have made them do different: having a conscience. Having a conscience. Only one thing. We underestimate the mafia. I hate when black people think it's, you know what, man, I just be strong. Like, I don't feel sorry for myself, or, I don't like think about that stuff. Nah, yeah. You sound so idiotic. Sounds so idiotic. What if I was to go into a job right now and everyone tied you up? Where's Mr. Tough Guy now? The money you feed your kids with. The paycheck you feed your kids with. What if we were to tie up that money for injustice? You think everything's okay because they're not dumb enough now. They know, oh, a brother in here living in France or a brother here living in UK is getting on just fine. What is racism? They're not concerned, no longer concerned about making sure you are not allowed to walk in a coffee shop or making sure it has to be segregated because they know exactly where the benefit is coming from. They've gotten less petty. And you underestimate your Africa and perpetuate the narratives. Yeah, man, we just can't get ourselves together, man. You know, we just corrupt, man. And these people, look how they talk. And I hate it because we have to salvage and we have to leap on moments like this to say, whoa, higher ups. I'm so glad James O'Brien said it. The idea right wing want to say that, listen, the very few people who say it's the guy at the bus stop drunk who says the N-word. It's not your school teacher who goes home or on the holiday, sits with her friends or his friends, and they make comments like this. Oh, jeez, I hate that black one. Oh, yeah. But these Africans, no, they don't want you to think like that. You don't think that teacher is professional enough to come into work and know how to operate? Even you know how to come into work, Negro, and operate properly. You leave certain languages at the door. There's certain ways you talk with your girls, certain ways you talk with your homies. When you out there, when you get into work, there's a new you that comes into work. What makes you think a teacher is any different? There's things you know you would never say in the midst of your work friends. What makes a school teacher any different? And then but the fact that mentality still sits at the back of their mind, it leaks on our children. I want you to know the very people you think are the ones who would never do anything unethical are the biggest form of scum. The biggest form of scum. We see this in moments and glimpses with Epstein. We see this in moments and glimpses with Prince Andrew. We see this in moments, even with William and that whole family. We see glimpses of corruption, glimpses with Piers Morgan, glimpses with Netanyahu, the slip-up moments. What do you think they do on a day-to-day basis? Do you think these men say, okay, these men will go by any means to buy the fifth 700 yacht? Any means necessary. Listen, I am not saying that the Western powers did not pick the fools out of our group. I am saying they are a fool, but the fool is the only decision they will allow. So instead of crying about the fool who is powerless, can we ask ourselves, and this is what I'm studying, okay, what is the root? The root is, why can a corrupt man like Donald Trump see another day every single time? Because people are so sold on his agenda, regardless if he says 10,000 racist things. Boris Johnson is about to come back in the cabinet yet again. It does not matter. People like Rishi Sunak knows in order for him to survive, he has to say, this is not a racist country. UK is not a racist country. They know their agenda and they stick by it. And what do you keep doing? I don't feel sorry for myself, man. I don't focus. You gotta focus on it. They're focused on it. They're focused on it. They don't tell you out loud they're focused on it, but they're focused on it. That's their agenda. And the most important thing is the people. The people are there every single time to say, we sing in the same tune. Yeah. So they use their innuendos. And we know that's our guy. Boris, that's our guy. They're waiting for a racist guy. That's our guy. They're smarter now. The war has evolved. We're not lynching people on the street. You have people like Trump who just say, we're going to get rid of migrants. Oh, that's our guy. But black people, I know because I do this job. You don't even want to know people like me. Anything that's oh, no. I got friendships I'm trying to hold on to. This is when loyalty to race comes in. This is when you are the one compromised more than your white friend is the one compromised. Your white friends should know I am part of a black radical movement. My mentality is radically black because my people need me to be. But you want to show that you don't focus. You have been manipulated into that box. Oh, I don't think about it too much. You know how dumb you sound? I don't focus on that stuff. You know, the rich men, you know that? You know those higher ups? Here you're getting a glimpse. Oh, they focus on it. They focus on it. And if you think even in Ireland, they're letting people in because they love Africans, these people are so calculated. Even I just said in my last video, Macron is now letting Aya sing at the Olympics on behalf of France. That's not, and the French are complaining. Why? Because sometimes the people who are on the ground don't think politically. He's watching African are waking up. They're waking up in this day and age. They're waking up in this day and age. It's the power of the internet. And then now we put the battery in the back of a man like Traore. And he understands the assignment. But we've the people, it's always about we the people. How do we know this? Because Trump is living right now because of we the people. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I want to quickly play, because I said I'll play it. I want to quickly play Rishi Sunak's response to the racist comment that was made by that Frank guy. And I want you to watch this real quickly.
Mr. Speaker, the alleged comments were wrong, they were racist, and he has now, as I said, the comments were wrong, they were racist. He has rightly apologised for them, and that remorse should be accepted, Mr. Speaker. There is no place for racism in Britain, and the government that I lead is living proof of that.
He apologized. That's it. Move on. He apologized. That is it. Move on. Guys, I hope you understood what I was trying to give to you in this video today. I'm going to repeat. We just watched the U.S. court side with Apple and Tesla and other tech companies over child labor in Africa. Africans will miss this. Africans globally will miss this. And then with the same tone, uneducated, uninformed, uneven interested in the topic, the next time they're speaking to somebody in a house or whatever in a kitchen about Africa, oh, our leaders, that's why our leaders. You're not even watching this happen. Our leaders, that's why our leaders. You sound so silly. And my last point for today. Black women, I want you to read the room. We just watched a black woman be threatened in her womanhood. She said that she was afraid to even leave her house. She's a single woman and she's afraid. That comment made her feel afraid. Do you see white female Twitter, TikTok go in an uproar? Are you seeing white female TikTok or Twitter in an uproar? But I always see you guys joining them when it's about something regarding we don't feel safe. And then you spend all the time bashing black men. I understand you are hurt, but you must understand the agendas and read the room. You have not been protected here. I'm waiting. Oh my God. Oh, no. No. They don't care about you. They do not care about you. I'm not talking a superficial, an act of caring. I mean the way they care for themselves. I mean when that girl was killed jogging, that white woman, I forget her name, God rest her soul, but when she was killed jogging, this is what I'm talking about. But oh my goodness, I have to find her name because it's only appropriate. We've got Ashton Murphy. That's one topic for sure. Sarah Everard. Sarah Everard. We got Ashley Murray. When a white woman is killed, the world stops. This has got to inspire you, my brothers and sisters, that you need to be so dedicated to your agenda. You're not. You're more concerned if you are getting yourself in these groups. You have white friends, you have social life, you have work friends, you're in Western society. But when it comes down to crunch time, if Sarah ever was a black woman, it wouldn't have been the same public and united uproar, or with Ashling Murphy. But why is it I'm struggling to find black women to come? Yes, I find some black women who are ready to pick up a sword, but a lot of black women just want to vibe out and get on with their lives. But then when they call upon you about women's safety regarding these, any white woman, anything, that's when you're front and center. But where are they when a black woman was just threatened by a white man? Where are they? They use you for numeric power. The feminist movement was never for black women. The white feminist movement was never for black women. And if you're saying, why am I dividing? It was never united. I cannot be the one dividing when I'm telling people the truth. We are caught in a circle where we just want to show them that we're morally upright, we're proving ourselves. And we can never open our eyes or smell the coffee. You are not cared about the same way you care about their society, about their problems. And then you leave people who are working hard. I'm going to put my name in there. I'm going to put Dr. Umar's name in there. And you alienate those people who go hard. You only want the people who are moderate in their fight, because that doesn't make your white friends feel uncomfortable. But a girl, especially in America, is going to support Trump whether it makes you feel uncomfortable or not. And if Boris Johnson didn't mess up the country financially, they'll support him whether you like him or not. I'm just so tired. I'm so tired. Look and smell the coffee. Just because people aren't having these overt racist moments, don't think life is good. We're fixing real problems, systematic problems. And guess what? We're hoping one day our kids can enjoy Africa. But it's not going to come from you not thinking about race too much. Because when a leader comes in who wants to fight against these people, and he needs people who will support him regardless of any bad propaganda against him, you can't be too busy not thinking about race, so you're not conscious enough to identify this wonderful leader, whether it be a he or a she. But we make celebrities out of celebrities. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'm on a mission for you.